Rocket League recently went free to play, and with so many cars to choose from, how are you supposed to know the best from the lot? What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. If you're new here, we love dropping great tips, top 10s, and highlights on our channel. We're quickly growing and we appreciate all of our subscribers. If you're not already subscribed and you like the content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications by clicking or tapping that bell. Make sure to give this video a like and share it with friends. I'm Sam for Top Viral Gaming, and now let's get into the video. Today we're using a tier list to rank some of Rocket League's most popular cars. For these rankings, we'll be taking into account a vehicle's hitbox shape and size, how well it handles in turns, as well as how well it performs with dribbling and shooting the ball. The first car we're going to look at today is the Marauder. Something of an underrated choice, the Marauder tends to get overlooked in favor of the fairly similar built Mech, and it doesn't help that it's part of a DLC package. Its appearance might not give this away, yet it's actually quite similar to the fan favorite, the Octane. The car's large, bulky shape might be a bit off-putting to some, yet its wide hitbox makes it a pretty solid option if you favor playing a more defensive game and/or spend a lot of time swatting shots away from your goal. The overall large mass of this thing makes it a powerhouse to muscle your way through opponents and put some real heat on ball hits. While it's a touch less mobile, its turn rate is still comparable to most other cars, now that Psyonix has balanced out these turning mechanics for most. When we take this all into account, we have the Marauder in the B tier. Now, I mentioned how the Marauder often gets overlooked by the Mech, so let's take a look at that car next. The Mech possesses a threat mainly because of its large hitbox. The massive size of this vehicle makes it particularly optimal for hitting balls when airborne, blocking goals, and blasting through opponents. Again, if you like to speed your way across the arena, the Mech may not be for you, as it possesses slightly weaker stats when it comes to boosting and turning. Still, players who prefer mass and brute strength should get much use out of this beast. It's also a safe choice for Rocket League newbies. Some of you may have this ahead of the Marauder, but we have it slightly behind it and in the C tier. Next up, we have Nimbus. This relatively new car doesn't just look sleek, it also makes for a fun and effective vehicle in a heated competition. While the Nimbus is a relatively short car with a pretty narrow hitbox, it's also just an all-around solid, versatile vehicle. This should particularly be on the radar for those who are used to playing with another great car, the Dominus, as the feel and hitbox of this thing is remarkably similar. Now, even with that said, it's not as good as the Dominus, and we're putting the Nimbus in the B tier. Next, let's take a look at the car I just mentioned, Dominus. The Dominus tends to be more favorable to those who value power and offense. This thing can really pack a punch when hitting the ball, and has a solid, flat, and medium height build, which makes it pretty reliable when controlling the ball, dribbling, or flying. Due to the length of the Dominus's hitbox, tricks such as flicks and dribbles are much more easily accomplished. The ball is more likely to be held more firmly on a car that has a larger surface area. Not only this, but flicking the ball right after a dribble is much more simple in a Dominus. The length of the hitbox means that the back end of the vehicle can hit the ball forwards and upwards much more easily, and with a lot more momentum behind the shot. A flick generally consists of hitting the ball during a flip to gain height on a shot, and they are often quite unpredictable in a real match in terms of placement. The Dominus, or car bodies using the Dominus hitbox, are often used by freestylers in Rocket League, such as professional Joni Jazer Himaloja. With so much going for this car, there's no doubt that this is an S-tier car. Let's go ahead and drop it in there. The Maverick G2 has a slightly close appearance to Dominus, but looks a little bit taller. The difference from the Maverick G1 is that the G2 has a spoiler at the back. The car has a Dominus hitbox. If you liked Dominus, you should really give Maverick a try. Being a flat car, it's pretty solid. However, it's not nearly quite as good, and we have it ranked in the B tier. Now, let's quickly do the Ripper, as it's another car with the Dominus hitbox that can give you nightmares. However, it's very narrow compared to the Dominus, so the same hitbox might throw you off because of how much wider the Dominus is. This one is going in the B tier as well. What do you think of our rankings so far? Agree with us? Make sure to hit that like button to let us know. Comment down below with which cars you think we got right and which ones we got wrong. Why don't we do the DeLorean Time Machine next? It's the Back to the Future car. It feels lightweight and it has an okay turn radius. The ball tends to glide right over it, though it's paper flat. In addition, it has lovely sound and visual effects with the wheels going in while flying. For us, this car ends up in the C tier. What about the Takumi? Let's take a look at that car now. This versatile car holds some similarities to the Dominus, but it swaps length and overall size with height. Those who favor that elite level vehicle but perhaps want a build that can cover a touch more ground in terms of elevation might want to give this a try. The Takumi doesn't just sport some of the best stats in the game all around, it comes with a very smooth feel that's easy to handle and fun to play with. However, due to the small hitbox, it can be considered a bit weak defensive-wise. This can be solved by putting some extra effort into defense due to its small hitbox. A lot of the gamers sing praises of this versatile car's dribbling, and surprisingly, some of them have even voiced their opinions in favor of Takumi. Although it's a well-rounded car, we have the Takumi in the C tier for our list. Now let's take a look at the Breakout Type S. While this car comes with a rather blocky, unappealing design, it can still be an impactful car with its mobility and speed. Its relatively flat top makes it more accurate and reliable to hit balls directly into the goal. Couple this with its ability to glide more smoothly through the air and its effectiveness in dribbling, and you've got yourself a pretty safe, reliable pick for casual or competitive play. The Breakout Type S will allow you to control your aerials smoothly, in addition to providing great dribbling, probably the best among all the cars. It does well enough to give it a spot in the A tier. Now the Breakout is very similar to the Breakout Type S. They're almost identical. The only probable difference is their looks. It all comes down to personal perception since there is no difference in hitbox or turning radius between these two. We can go ahead and put this one in the A tier too. Let's pull up the Komodo now. The Komodo is a car with a really cool appearance with its headlights and realistic rear. It has the same hitbox as the Breakout, so you know exactly how it is. The flip resets are pretty easy with this car, but it seems as if the car lacks power. It hits the ball hard due to the presence of the Breakout hitbox. The car's really good on the ground. The flicks don't feel really great because of the flat appearance of the car. Otherwise, this car's a pretty good option for you. For those reasons, we have the Komodo in the B tier. Let's do the fan favorite Octane next. And there's a good reason why pro players of the Rocket League eSport tend to opt for the Octane more than any other vehicle. It's simply a solid, all-around effective car to use. Its jack-of-all-trades nature makes it a great pick for newbies, but its versatility allows it to be a more than sufficient choice for veterans as well. The Octane is terrific in just about all areas outside of its relatively meager length. It has a great, smooth feel when driving, decent hitbox overall, and is relatively speedy and powerful as well. Basically, this is the car designed to accommodate the broadest range of playstyles. Without a doubt, the Octane belongs in the S tier. Roadhog is up next. Compared to the other cars with the Octane hitbox, Roadhog has the least amount of gaps. As you can see, the Roadhog is almost like a box, which matches the hitbox very well. Most of the top of the hitbox is covered by the model of the car, which makes it much easier to dribble. It has a pretty similar hitbox and handling to Octane, slightly longer and taller, but slightly narrower. This vehicle is going in the C tier. Now how about we do the Vulcan? The Vulcan seems to be a very nice, happy medium mashup between many cars. I would say it's what you get if you put together an Octane, X-Devil, and Breakout. There's not much weight to it. Heavier than a Breakout or Octane though, but it flies and turns extremely well. It has a long enough nose to get that last little bit you need to hit an aerial. The flaps on the wings that open up when you go airborne add so much flair when freestyling. A decent car, but just like the DeLorean, Roadhog, Takumi, and Merc, we have the Vulcan in the C tier. Next, let's take a look at Mantis. Aside from coming with some of the best boosting and turning in the game, the Mantis is also a particularly lengthy car, allowing you to cover the ball with greater ease, at least at ground level, if you can get past this thing's relatively short and flat build. It's one of the shortest cars in the game, meaning you have to jump more often, and it's a solid choice in a number of areas. You can rock a pretty effective offensive game with this if used right, not just because of its mobility and width, but also its ability to execute great flips. We've got the Mantis in the B tier. Now this is a car you'll want to spend some time getting used to, as it sports a pretty short and lengthy profile. I'm talking about the Paladin. Its hitbox also has been dialed back a bit, making it lose a bit of popularity. Still, those who found their way around the similar, more newbie-friendly Dominus may want to give this more extreme version a try. This thing can really get it done when it comes to aerial dribbling, freestyling, and powerful shooting. Let's go ahead and put the Paladin in the C tier. Before we go on to our final two cars, we want to thank you guys for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and click or tap that bell to get notified about our latest videos. Also, hit that like button. This lets us know that you want to see more content just like this. Now, let's get to those last two cars, starting with the Batmobile. The Batmobile is a DLC car introduced into Rocket League. Certain professional players, for example, Kyle Scrubkiller Robertson, Victor Fairy Peak Lockett, and Francesco Cuxier97 Sikimani, have risen into prominence because of their brilliant use of the Batmobile. These three extremely well-respected professional players are mainly known for their amazing 1v1 play, and it can't be a coincidence that all of them use the Batmobile. The Batmobile has the third longest hitbox and the second widest hitbox. The main reason that players use the Batmobile is because they are cited to have won more 50-50s with the car. This is extremely important for Rocket League matches, especially in lower level ranked games, where 50-50s are almost the entire gameplay. In-game, the Batmobile turns extremely similarly to the Dominus, in the sense that it's a flat car with a similar turn radius. The turn radius is not as small as the Octane, but its length and width make up for it. Like the Dominus, flicks are more powerful and efficient with a flattish car. I think we can all agree that the Batmobile is an A-tier car. Let's go ahead and put that in there. And finally, our last car, one which we got a ton of comments for in our top 10 cars in Rocket League video, Fennec. The Fennec feels simple in-game. It basically looks like a Dominus if it was shortened and made bulkier. The car is just a box, and because of that, it may be easier to use it. You can understand how a ball will bounce off your car, whether it'll hit a side or a corner. In fact, the Fennec has the same hitbox as the Octane, which makes the car that much better. If the hitbox is the same as the most used car in the history of Rocket League, more players will make an easy switch to the Fennec. Fennec does not feel like the Octane in-game. The Octane feels quite light and more pointed, but the Fennec feels bulkier and bigger, almost as if it has more power behind each hit. The shape of the car has drawn comparisons to the Mech, yet it moves like an Octane. While sometimes it may feel smaller and heavier in-game, looking past that, it is a great option for any player that enjoys the Octane. Don't worry guys, we heard you loud and clear. The Fennec is our final S-tier car without a doubt. And those are our rankings, guys. Which cars would you move up or down? Let us know in the comments down below. Check out our other videos. Be sure to subscribe and turn on that bell to be notified about our latest videos.